Mr. Horton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Finance Committee met twice, last Tuesday and tonight. Last Tuesday, the Finance Committee passed an appropriation for the Capital Assets Fund for an F-150 pickup to replace one that was totaled out. That's the Insurance Department passed through. And the second appropriation was to replace a check that was deposited. It was just a budgetary move. The Finance Committee recommends both of those to the full council in the form of a motion.
You've heard the motion. All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, sir.
The third item of business from last week was authorizing the invitation to bid for solid waste services. And the Finance Committee passed that in the form of a motion.
All those in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Horton.
We met again tonight, Mayor. We passed a motion recommending allocation of certain funds for capital projects. I think everybody was here for that discussion and knows which ones we're doing. Those were recommended in the form of a motion also.
All those in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
We passed two appropriations tonight, one for $25,000 it's a cost-sharing deal with the Corps of Engineers for the 205 project, and the other one was $310,000 passed through with City Corporation for the H and Parker projects. The committee recommends both of those in the form of a motion.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, my colleague, Mr. Tripp, is reminding me of a couple that I jumped over here.
That's all right. I was going to remind you.
I'm trying to get us caught up. We took too long in the regular in our meeting. Consideration authorizing the invitation to bid for solid waste. Did we do that?
Yes, we did.
I thought
Yes.
we did.
Yes.
Number one and number two.
But I did skip over the funds for the parking garage. We did recommend that in the form of a motion.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
That brings us down to that last item.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, we discussed, we introduced Mr. David Hunt of Hunt Services of Jackson, Tennessee. He's the franchisee for the new Buffalo Wild Wings, and he has presented us with a proposal to develop the convention center site. The Finance Committee looked at and approved or recommends a memorandum of understanding to be signed with Mr. Hunt to let him begin developing a master development agreement that could move the convention center project ahead. The committee recommended that in the form of a motion.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mr. Mayor, that is all we have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Horton. Mr. Stuber, do you have any personnel committee report?
Yes, Mayor, we have one item on the agenda. This is to take a part-time employee and make him a full-time employee for the Parks and Rec Department for the remainder of the year. Facilitated that was, you know, Mac had a person to get injured and he's still off. And I think if Mac is here I think Mac is here, but I think it's going to cost about $12,000. Is that right? Yes. So I make that in a form of a motion.
All right.
Second.
All right, we have a motion for the intern that will assist Mr. Hollis for the remainder of this year due to the injured employee.
All right. Close.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of Mr. Stuber's motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Stuber. Anything else? All right, hearing none, we do have a request for reappointment of Mr. Blake Tarpley to another 2-year term to the Board of Adjustment that was unanimously approved by the Planning Commission. What is your pleasure, gentlemen and lady?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.